Creations with Christina, welcome back to another video. Today we are on video number 6 in our card making for beginners series. Today we're going to be talking about different types of coloring mediums for stamping. One of my favorite coloring mediums is colored pencils. I have two different sets of colored pencils. I have the Prismacolor set, which is one I've had for quite some time. I have a little chart inside here that lists all of the colors that I own to this set, and it makes it easier too for when I am actually sitting down to start coloring, where I can kind of see what colors go together, what colors might match if I'm using a pattern paper or something like that. So I keep that right inside here. I have all of my pencils in this case, which is a multi-compartment case. There's 4 compartments to it. Each compartment holds a pencil in each one of the loops. My previous one held 3 pencils in a loop, and it was a little difficult to get them in and out. I find the single loop so much better. Prismacolor pencils do have a tendency to break. The lead on the inside will break. I've found that when I purchase them individually, like from my local craft store, that usually it ends up that one of my pencils' lead is broken. So if you're going to buy it, I would recommend buying a set. They do come in different various sizes of sets. This is the one I started off with, but I have recently switched over to the Faber-Castell Polychomos Pencils, and I love these. I've been playing with them for a little bit and really love the quality of the colors. I feel like they color nicely onto cardstock, that it's not too rough. It's got a nice smooth lead to it. This one again is another one of those sets where it's multi-compartment and I have them into these sections. I haven't done a color chart with this one yet, which I will be doing soon. The color chart for my Faber-Castell ones I found online, so I'll probably just Google search a color chart for this one and we'll be using it. So colored pencils are a fun and easy coloring medium for beginner stampers. We've all colored when we were kids, so this is I really enjoy this, and it's a lot of fun to be able to do this. But one thing that I love about this is that you can take these pencils and then blend them so they look completely different. They have this different look to it. They're almost like a watercolor look. To do that, you want to get yourself some odorless mineral spirits, or Gamasol as it's called, Gamsol. I always say Gamasol. And then you want to also buy something like this. I just recently purchased this, but you can buy just these little blending stumps at your local craft store, and they work perfectly great with the Gamasol. I have found this, I purchased a kit from Amazon which came with this type of bottle that has a sponge on the top. You definitely need something that has a sponge in it, but you can pick up an actual bottle of Gamasol at Hobby Lobby with a coupon, of course, and maybe get another bottle or glass or something with a sponge and stick a piece of sponge inside of it so that you have something to work with. So that's just my quick tip for colored pencils. Something that I really enjoyed and have been playing with quite often, and I really feel like the colored pencils are the easiest if you're just starting off with stamping. Another type of marker, I have a bunch of these sets from various collections. They're by Tombow. They're the Tombow markers. I have a bunch of these because I was using them with bullet journaling, but they are fantastic for coloring as well. They come with a brush tip, so if you're really talented and can do calligraphy or some kind of brush script, these are fun to play with. I am not talented at that kind of thing, but they're great for coloring with your stamped images. And then it has another kind of bullet tip. So we'll try to get a better shot of that for you. And it has another bullet tip on this side so you can get into those really small places. This is a great option. Of course, you can also even go with something like a Crayola package of colored markers. But I like the Tombow ones because you can blend these a little bit, and you can also dilute them and kind of make them into a watercolor by using a watercolor brush and getting more of a different look to them. Another popular coloring medium is Copic Markers. They're an alcohol-based marker. They are fabulous markers. They're refillable. You can replace the nibs on them. They come with a brush tip, and they come in a chisel end if you purchase the sketch version. These are the sketch markers. They come in another version of Chow, and I believe there's also an original version, which has different types of tips on them. The sketch ones are refillable. So if you think that this might be something that you want to get into, go with the sketch because you can refill the barrels and add more ink to them. If you're just starting out with buying these, you definitely want to buy them in color groups. So this one right here is 4 different colors from one color group. It's the Y00, YR02, YR04, and YR07. And these are great for blending. I'm not very good at Copic markers, so I kind of always let everybody know that I am still a beginner, even though I have played with them for many years. But what you do is you start off with your lighter color, and then you can come into your next darker color, and you could just keep taking those colors down. And as you go back with your lighter colors, you can then start playing around with blending these together. Again, I am not by any means good at this. I like to color with them, but I don't pretend that I know what I'm doing. Not at all. I think this is my next darker. But you can get some great shading and effects with these if you really get into playing with Copic colors. Just keep in mind you want to buy them in sets. You don't always have to buy them one set after another, one color after another. You can actually skip a color. So we can take, and I believe there might be a color that's in between this one, but you can take a color that might be missing the medium color in it and actually do a little technique that where you can touch your tip, the darker color, to your lighter color and blend out, and that almost makes your second or your medium tone color. So Copic colors are a lot of fun. There's also a Nuvo by Tonic alcohol ink markers. They sell them in sets. So you would have the full sets. These are just a couple of colors that I grabbed, not from sets, but they do have the alcohol based markers, and they are great if you are a beginner and looking to see if maybe you want to do and work and try to learn how to use alcohol based markers. This is a great way to start. It comes with a point tip, and then it has a chisel tip on the other end. That's the only, and I have a hard time getting these lids off. Hold on. I can't get it off. Oh, sticker. That's embarrassing. And then there's also the chisel tip. The downside to these is they don't have the brush tip. So the brush I found was, for me, something that I had to really practice on, getting those really thin lines and then getting our thicker lines. It's something I really had to play with and learn, but you can definitely get some thinner and thicker movements with the chisel and the point tip, as well with the Nuvo markers. So if you're looking to maybe really think about doing alcohol-based markers, try the Nuvo. If you think maybe it's something that you're definitely going to get into, go with the sketch. The Nuvo are not refillable, and you cannot replace the tips. Another favorite coloring medium for me is the real brush markers. Now there's a couple of different companies out there that have real brush markers. These are the Kuretake Zig Clean Color Real Brush Markers. They come in various sets. I think the largest one they have might be, I think, in the 90s, but a smaller set is absolutely fine. You're going to get a lot out of these markers, and what I love about them, it's like watercoloring with a pen that already has everything built into it. They have a brush tip to them. I don't know if you can see the bristles spreading out there. So it's like having a paintbrush built right into your colored markers, your watercoloring. Love these. And what I like about these is you can also take a water pen. This is a pen that's just filled with a little bit of water in the barrel, and it acts like a paintbrush, so you can blend out your colors and make it look more like a watercoloring image. Now you do have to use certain cardstocks. If you're going to watercolor, you definitely want to use a watercolor cardstock. Just to color with these, You can use a Bristol cardstock, which colors beautifully. And again, you could just buy that locally at your craft stores. However, you do have to order the markers online. Now, I did recently pick up a cheaper version of these markers that I have not tried out yet. If I do like them, I will definitely be posting about them here on my YouTube channel, so you can get more information about those. But these are great for just either watercoloring or coloring straight from the pen, or adding water and doing a watercoloring. Now, this isn't perfectly good watercoloring because I'm not using a watercolor paper, but just keep in mind that you do need to have specific papers to work with these. If the thoughts of watercoloring and playing with this type of marker to do watercoloring scares you, then maybe try a watercolor pencil. These are a little set of pencils that I received in a kit that has 3 pencils in it. I absolutely love this. It's so cute. And you can watercolor. I'm using watercolor cardstock for this. And I'm just going to go ahead and scribble that on. You can take your little barrel pen of water and add your water, and you're going to get some beautiful blending, and maybe a little easier if you want to start looking at possibly doing watercolor, because you can blend that out beautifully. Now, I picked the lightest color there is, but you can see that there's no pencil marks. It's now watercolored. These are fun to play with, and I think a great beginner's tool. The lighter you go, the lighter the color will be. The darker you go, the darker the color. So I have a little bit of pink on here. I'm just wiping it off, and I'm going to go back in with my water brush, and you can see how I was darker in the top and lighter as I came down. These are fun to play with. I have just this one watercolor pencil set, and I do think I need to actually invest in more of these because they are a lot of fun, and I am not the best person for watercoloring. I think watercolor pencils and these brush markers are a good way to go if you're a beginner, because you might be like me and you think you can watercolor, but you can't. And then if you really want to try watercoloring and get into experience, there's all these different types of kits out there. I'm not even going to begin to be able to say the name of these. These are Kuretake. Oh boy. I can't say the name of them, so I'm not going to try. They're by Kuretake, which is the same company that does the Zig Clean Color Real Brush Markers. Inside, you have a little palette here where you can test out your different colors and add swatches of your colors inside. And then in here, you have all of these. Now, this is something that is in brand new condition because I'm intimidated by it and not 100% sure of myself when it comes to watercoloring. I think I need to practice more, and I need to get this little plastic thing out from the inside. This is a great palette though. It's got great collection of colors in it. Even has some gold, white, and silver down at the bottom. And I have my little pen here, so you can make sure there's water in it. I'm gonna squirt a little bit of water just to kind of activate it. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Again, this is something I think watercoloring I need to experiment with and play with. Probably adding that much water wasn't a good idea. But if you get into watercoloring, this would be a fun palette. There's so many other professional grade palettes out there. But I think if you're a card maker and just getting into this, or even a, somebody that's been card making for a little bit, this might be a good set to get if you think that watercoloring might be something you want to try out in your card making. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This was just a quick overview of a couple different options if you're a beginner card maker or beginning with stamping for different types of coloring mediums. I am not very good at coloring, so these are my favorites, the ones that make me feel like I might be good at coloring. But I really enjoy, like I said, the color pencils is probably my favorite option. Then I would probably go on to the Zig, or actually maybe the Copic markers. It depends. But this is definitely a nice way to start. I would start out with color pencils, maybe think about the alcohol-based markers, and then maybe go into watercoloring, because I find this a little bit difficult, but maybe you don't. So that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Give it a thumbs up. That's how YouTube knows that you're enjoying my videos. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe so you can be notified when I post new videos, which will be every Friday. And I will catch you all back here in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.